You know how when someone's talking about crypto, they usually say this isn't financial advice. Well, this platform here flips that narrative on the head and can actually give you financial advice. It's a wealth-based management platform called Ledgity, and I have the CEO joining me today. His name is Pierre-Yvees Dittlot, and he was going to talk about how the platform works, how he came about building it up, and what it's all about. Let's get into it.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
Pierre, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you very much for inviting me.
So let's start off with a little bit about your background and how you got into the crypto space and how you actually got to this point where you're building out this app for the community as well. So let's hear about how you got into the crypto space.
Yeah, sure. You know, I come from the private banking and asset management industry. I worked for more than 13 years, in Monaco and Switzerland. And I started to learn about blockchain technology and crypto at the end of 2016. And when I understood the technology behind crypto and the technology, blockchain technology, I realized that it will be the biggest innovation in the financial industry for the next 10 years. So for me, the biggest innovation is on two aspects. The first one, I was convinced that crypto assets will become sooner or later an investment asset class. And it's the case right now, today.
Yeah.
And the second aspect is that the blockchain technology will disrupt the share ledger management of unlisted assets, in the financial industry.
So what are these, what do you call it, shared unlisted assets? So what are they for the novice that don't understand what that is?
Yeah, for example, for traditional investment, like real estate investment fund or private equity investment fund.
Yeah.
So all those assets that currently, managed manually, their ledger is managed manually by many people. You can really make the ecosystem and the infrastructure more efficient by using the blockchain technology in order to automatize, a certain number of, verification regarding transfer of assets and so on.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably the biggest use case for blockchain, making efficiencies. Finding something that's a lot of manual processes and automating that and having it all on the blockchain so it's simplified, reduces costs, and make things a lot faster. So that's by far key use cases for any blockchain. So how does the app, and how did you come up with this app, Ledgity, to help with this whole entire process?
Ledgity, is the first crypto wealth platform with a unique positioning to target the next wave of crypto adoption by wealth management and private banking customers. And our strength, compared to other crypto app or crypto platform, is really to integrate crypto assets as an investment asset class in the context of the global wealth of the clients. So meaning that to integrate crypto alongside, traditional investment like equity, bonds, funds, real estate, whatever. And our target is really to bring crypto investment to traditional finance with private banking standards, let's say.
So I use a lot of these type of apps. Here in Australia, there's one called Spaceship, and I think Raise, and I think in the United States, there's one called Acorns, where you can put in an investment amount into those particular apps, and they'll invest it into different portfolios, shares and stuff for you on their behalf. It's kind of they build an index and then they invest all those funds for you. Is that essentially how it works with Ledgity?
Not really, because the first step for us in order to integrate crypto assets in the context of the global wealth, it's to provide, obviously, an easy way to buy, sell and store crypto assets.
Yeah.
But also to be able for the customer to visualize his global wealth. So to aggregate, his bank account, equity account, life insurance, real estate investment, arts, and so on. And also to be able to access to a financial advisor from thousands of experts,
Yeah.
If the client needs, some specific demand on the tax, for example, on diversification of their wealth, or on any demands related to his wealth.
Gotcha. Okay. So it pulls in all different aspects of my financial position. So my property, my regular share.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You can compare more as, let's say a digital private bank, for example, where you have your private banker, so someone physically with who you can talk and ask questions. You have some assets to diversify your portfolio, and we integrate crypto in these assets, and also a current account and the debit card and so on.
Wow. Okay. This is really different. I don't think I've seen anything like this in the market at all. And then you said something really interesting there. Like you said, have an advisor to give you advice. Is this actual financial advice?
Yeah, it can be financial advice, but it can also be on the tax, question.
Yeah.
Because a financial advisor can, really advise a client on any topics related to his wealth. So it can be accounting, it can be tax, and also it can be investment for sure.
I just find it funny because when we're in the crypto space, it's always like, people say, oh, this isn't financial advice, don't listen to me. But here we are with an app where it is actual financial advice. Yeah. So it's completely flipped on its head. So I love that.
Yeah. And especially when you look at now at the regulation worldwide,
Yeah.
It's really an asset class, because you have more and more regulation, especially, for example, in Europe or in US as well. And if we really need a massive adoption of crypto as an investment asset class, we need the regulation with it. Otherwise, we will never have adoption.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you're working closely with regulators around different countries to actually have this app. Like you can't have this app everywhere in the world, right? Because you have to work with all the regulators in each one of those countries.
Yeah, exactly. The approach is to open, country after country for two reasons. First, for the regulatory purpose, and secondly, in order, to set up a network of financial advisors. So to make able, any customer, if they need, to contact an expert to answer to that question. And for the moment, for example, we have 1,700 financial advisors pre-registered, in France. So we started in France, and we will slowly, expand to other European countries like Luxembourg, Belgium, Switzerland, Monaco, and so on. And so mainly, banking, private banking, and wealth management country.
That's amazing. Because if I was going to ask, I was playing around with the app, I was downloading it. I thought, I'll give it a play. Maybe I'll pull in some assets and see how it all works. But I noticed that it didn't work in Australia yet. So I'm assuming you'd have to go through the whole financial licensing for here. And you also said that you have to sign up financial advisors. So it's a lot of work to get this app working.
Yes and no, because, right now, we can see a growing demand, from high net worth individual and let's say investor from the traditional finance, or from private banking and wealth management, who want to diversify their wealth in crypto. And this market represents $trillions of wealth. And in the next 2 years, we will see a migration, from this wealth that currently invested, in equity, bonds, or traditional investment, slowly migrate, in crypto for part of it, maybe 2, 5, 10% of this wealth. And it represents a huge opportunity for, for the blockchain industry and for crypto. This transition, from the traditional finance to crypto.
I cannot wait for that transition to happen and happen faster as well. It happens
fast, huh?
Yeah, it will happen fast. Like the internet took so long to evolve and gain adoption, but crypto is moving along way faster than that, and a lot of people are very, very interested in the market in general.
But now we have a lot of metrics, in the market, and we can see, for example, in France, you already have 8% of the population who already have some crypto, NFT or crypto, but it's, this number is already more than people who hold equity in direct. So you have more adoption in crypto, and it's growing month after month,
I don't know how it is in France or in other countries, but I find here in Australia, it's the only parallel that I can come up with, that buying crypto assets are so much easier than buying shares or property, especially property here in Australia. It's so hard to get into the property market, and a share trading account costs like minimum is like thousands of dollars to buy, into a particular share account. But crypto, $50 here every week, and you have an exposure to some crypto asset. It's so much easier. I'm assuming it's the same over there in France and Europe.
Exactly the same. And I will add also an important aspect. It's about the community, because most of the investors who invest, in Bitcoin, Ethereum, get part of this community and participate, in this innovation. They really believe, in this innovation and so on. And it's maybe, I think, the biggest difference comparing to invest, in equity, bonds, or whatever. You do not, feel participating in the company when you invest in equity.
Yeah. I did hear a really interesting podcast. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been with The Economist. And they were talking about the whole GameStop and AMC craze. And so many people bought the AMC shares, and they were like crypto investors. They're just regular everyday people. They started going to their AGMs. So all these people that were gathering questions on Reddit were coming into the AGMs, and they were reading out the questions and really getting involved in that particular AGM for ACM. And it was really interesting to see that kind of evolve, where the CEO would have never taken questions from people from Reddit before, and that whole ecosystem suddenly evolve and change. So we may see like the regular share trading ecosystem change as well, with more regular retail investors coming into the market.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, you cannot imagine the power of a community. So I think the biggest driver for a company or for a startup, to grow, it's his community. It's the biggest driver.
Big, any crypto project, if you don't have the community, it's nothing.
Any crypto. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and even more broadly, any company, because for example, if you look at Meta or Facebook, without the community, without the user, it's nothing.
Yeah, especially with Facebook and Meta.
Especially Facebook.
So with all these regulations, are you finding it hard to break into some of these markets and work with the regulations? Like I'm assuming when you eventually, the US is probably the biggest market, and you want to move over there eventually. Are you finding resistance? Are you finding it hard to break into different markets? Like, what's the roadmap to actually go through and tackle all of that?
Yeah, so I think I have the chance to work, all my life, in the financial markets, in financial industry. So I used to talk, with regulator, because in my past, I set up an asset management company regulated in Monaco and so on. So I know what we have to do, to comply with what the regulator asks. So I think it's a big point, good point. And if you look at the France market, France is a very, let's say, interesting country regarding the regulation around crypto, because it was the first country in Europe putting a regulation in crypto, the regulation called Digital Service Asset Provider, in order to regulate companies who want to provide custody services, crypto custody services, and also trading like fiat to crypto and crypto to crypto services. And so I think it's very good for the ecosystem, but also for the customer, because you create, a trust, in the ecosystem, and you avoid, scams or this kind of bad actor. And one thing very interesting is that 2 days ago, Binance got their digital service asset provider license in France.
Wow.
Yes.
That is very big.
So it's very big. And you see that maybe the biggest actor, in the industry, moving in the same way, with the regulator and so on. So it's very interesting.
That's really, really interesting. That's it goes to show that all crypto assets will follow regulations wherever they are around the world. It just hopefully they're friendly regulations so that it's positive for the industry in general. So that's really interesting to know, and really interesting that you're following through, and you have all that experience to make it possible as well. Now, when I was looking into the project, I noticed that you guys already had a token, and you actually launched on other chains. So I was looking into it. I thought, oh, okay, maybe I'll buy some tokens and see what the price is at, but it wasn't quite on the Cardano blockchain. So can you tell us a little bit of background about the token? How'd you go through token raises, what the token's for? Give us the whole picture.
Yeah. So first of all, since the beginning, we think that Cardano can be the third generation of blockchain. But back in time, last year when we did our seed round, in August, you didn't have any smart contract on Cardano yet. So that's the reason why we decided to launch the token on other blockchain, mainly Ethereum, because we raised, a little bit less than $1 million last year in a seed round. In three operations, let's say a pre-seed, a seed, and a community seed, because we really have this community-centric approach, and we believe that to get the community at the really beginning of the project, the financing of the project, it's something very important for us, not only crypto VCs, but to let the community invest alongside, professional investors. So it's very important. And LTY token is at the heart of our ecosystem. So it has been designed to offer to token holders a wide range of benefits and perks, in the product and in the ecosystem globally. And it's the best way to get access to Ledgity growth, by combining key utility functions such as, discount fees, priority access to specific functionalities or investment opportunities, to benefit from staking, and to implement also a buyback and burn mechanism. So really to link, our growth with our token holder. It's the first point. And maybe if I can add, some information related to the blockchain technology, because we have a clear vision on how this technology will disrupt the financial industry. And the financial industry is the most obvious use case for blockchain technology, let's say, because
definitely
the worldwide financial transaction rely on ledgers, so it's an obvious use case. And on my humble opinion, one of the most important value that the blockchain brings to the financial infrastructure is the ledger management. As I said, at the beginning of our discussion, and we are currently building the first blockchain-based fund distribution platform on Cardano. Because if you look at the financial industry and financial products, the product that is common, in private banking, wealth management, is investment fund. And the fund distribution is very important in this ecosystem. And the fund distribution system represents a volume of trillions of dollars per year. Only in Europe, for example. So it's a very, very huge market. And LTY, down the road, as soon as we integrate all this innovation in our ecosystem, LTY will be also used for this specific use case. So used for this specific protocol, we will build. And for example, for this protocol related to blockchain-based fund distribution network, it will be used as a kind of gas fees, for asset manager to distribute their fund through our network.
It's I didn't realize just the distribution of the funds was trillions of dollars in one market. Well, I guess when you look at it, like the share market's huge, and so when funds are distributed, of course, that's going to be quite a lot of money. And yeah, that's a lot of transactions that they have to deal with. And having blockchain take care of that is an obvious choice when you look into it. Absolutely amazing. That's fantastic. So I guess that gives us a really clear indication why you initially were on, the token initially was on Ethereum first, and now trading on various different exchanges, such as even PancakeSwap. I saw the token on now as well.
But our vision, to be completely transparent, our plan is to launch, main of the supply of LTY token on a Cardano network, by the end of the year.
Very
so
cool.
we will burn, most of the supply on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, and we will launch the same number of tokens, so this supply on Cardano network.
That's fantastic. And I think that will give a lot of Cardano holders that have resistance of moving over to other chains easy access to the token as well. So I'm pretty happy that you're doing that. It makes it a lot easier for me to buy into the token as well. So it was really cool to hear about that, the project funding and managing to raise that 1 million in seed funding as well throughout that process. And I love the aspect that you're doing through with the bringing the community along as well, and having the community early on within that particular financing round. What type of additional funding are you doing in the future? Because I can't imagine this platform being built out with just $1 million. It's going to take you a lot more money, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But what is important for us is to show to investors that we are very efficient when we invest, our money in order to build the best product. And so now we have the first version of our product, live on the stores, and we have traction from financial advisor and clients, and we are accelerating, our growth with them. But indeed, we need additional funds in order to to tackle all the global market we address, and that's the reason why we just start right now a private sale round with the target to raise $3 million. Mainly to accelerate our market penetration and to accelerate the development of the product.
And I've also heard that you might be doing an ISPO as well. Is that the case?
Exactly, it's the case. So the plan is to just after the private sale to launch the ISPO, and all the details will be announced shortly about the ISPO.
Is there a time frame for this? Like, do you know a rough date? Q3, Q4?
Yeah, in Q3, yeah.
Q3,
We'll start in Q3, yeah.
Okay, not too far away. It's just
not too far away, yeah.
Yeah, there are just so many ISPOs going on at the moment, so people are got to keep in mind like where they're going to move their funds to and for what particular project. So it's always good to know. Yeah. Now, of course, you've also got a lot of different partnerships going on at the moment. I know one of them is Genius X. You're a part of the Accelerator program as well. So what was the idea behind forming the partnership and being onboarded with Genius X? Like, what did you need from the team, and what other partnerships have you got planned?
Yeah. So with Genius X, we have a very good relationship. They know quite well our project because we discussed since many months, so they know us quite well. They advise us, on several aspects regarding our fundraising, our tokenomics, and many other topics, to bring value to Ledgity. And, more globally, we know with Genius X, Genius Yield, globally, we also have several synergies to put in place, in the next 12 months, especially regarding this innovation in the financial industry. Just a quick example. As soon as you are using, a blockchain ledger, let's say, to represent an exchange financial asset, such as real estate investment fund, you can bring all the innovation we already have now in the GFI, so with, for example, a decentralized exchange, and for the first time to provide an efficient secondary market related to those assets like real estate through that until now do not have liquidity, do not have secondary market. So we can really bring an amazing innovation in the financial industry.
That's crazy. Who would have thought you could just pick it up and move it to a different industry? That's Now that you mention it, it makes obvious sense. But yeah, that is a very interesting move and a very interesting future as well. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing what you guys build out. That'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it takes time, but it will be very soon. It's not we will not wait years for that. It's just a question of several months to make all this innovation in the financial industry.
Several months. Okay. All right. We'll see what you guys can do. So what's next? What can people do to actually get their hands on the app? Where can they go? And is there a community that we can engage with so we can learn more about the product?
Yeah, sure. So for the moment, user can download the app, in France, UK, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Belgium, Monaco, and we are working to expand, to other countries. We already have, as I said before, 1,700 financial advisors who started, their onboarding. So mainly in France for the moment, but we will, expand to other European countries first in the next couple of months. And our next big milestone, globally at the high level, it's our private sale first, the launch of the ISPO, and the launch of our crypto platform within Ledgity Wealth app.
Fantastic. All right. I'll put the links to everything down below in the show notes so that everyone can find out more information about it. Download the app if you're in one of those regions. Well, I'd love to be in France or Monaco at the moment, but unfortunately here in Australia, not that it's bad, but I'd love to travel and see some more parts of the world. Pierre, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast and explaining to me exactly what Ledgity is, your experience, and sharing your wealth of knowledge around regulation as well. I'd love to learn more about regulation and how you're tackling that. And with all your experience, I think you're the perfect person for it.
Thank you very much for your question and the discussion. It was very, very good for me to share this vision and all this information with you.
Beautiful. Thank you. So this app isn't quite available yet in a lot of countries around the world, but if you are in one of those countries that can use it, let me know in the comments down below. I'll put a link to it if you haven't seen it yet, so you can download it from the App Store and play around with it. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of people always ask me, who can I talk to in regards to crypto and tax advice? This app would be perfect for it. Unfortunately, I can't access it here in Australia, but eventually, fingers crossed, they'll get their regulatory licenses and be able to use the app in Australia and other parts of the world, of course. So if you really enjoyed this type of content, please consider giving me that thumbs up, click subscribe, click the notification bell, and you hear more from me real soon. See you in the next video.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.